Yo, yo, it's your boy Simon. People always ask this question: what's the difference between jail and prison? Let me break it down for you. Here we go. So, jail and prison. People get this misconception that they're both the same thing. They are two separate entities. Jail is where you fight your case. Jail is where you don't know how much time you're going to get yet. Jail is where people are on edge. Jail is filled with all types of individuals. Technically, everybody in jail is innocent until proven guilty. But let's be honest, if that was the case, you would not be in jail. You'd be able to fight your case outside without a bond, without a bail, without any of that. In the United States, it is guilty until proven innocent. Now, on the other hand, prison. What is prison? Well, prison is the place that you go to serve your sentence. Once you get your time, once you finished your court case, once you get all that situated, they send you to prison. Now, prisons can range from minimum securities, high securities, minimum, medium, everything in between. In Illinois alone, there's 8 different levels of prisons. The best ones are level 8s. Level 8s are basically the adult transition centers, and the only people that go there is your petty drug cases, your nonviolent offenses, essentially people that they allow or deem them capable of working a job in society without causing a ruckus. So basically, you can rack up cash over there. You can prepare yourself for a reintegration to society. In my opinion, those centers, the ATC centers, are essential. I think they should really, really look into that more and open more of that up, because the recidivism in my state is 89%. So obviously something isn't working because not enough resources are being put into allowing the inmates to successfully reintegrate. There's always a stigma among inmates and felons that it's hard to get a job. There's that stereotype. I'm sure you guys watch this video because I'm a felon, because I'm a convict, but I'm more than that. We're all people. At the end of the day, we got families, we have children, we have mothers, we have fathers, we have loved ones. So in today's society, there's too much of that. There's too much of that titleism. We put titles on every single person, and it's just got to stop. Ultimately, we're all people. Now back to it. So in prison, in my experience, and I've been to the maxes, the mediums, the minimums, you name it, I've been there. 8.5 years I've been locked up. So it definitely offers a time to experience everything the system has to offer. We're gonna dissect prison. With prison, everybody knows they're outdated. Everybody has a lot more comforts in prison, meaning you can buy your own TV, you can buy your own hot pot, which you can boil water in, you can buy your own food from commissary, which you can in jail as well, but it's very limited of what you can get in jail. Prisons, COs tend to be a lot more laid back from my experience. You got to realize I came from Cook County, which was one of the worst counties in the nation. So the prisons compared to that were a cakewalk. Essentially in prison, it all depends. There's dorm settings, there is cell settings, you name it, there's a prison for you. And essentially the biggest differences are the COs, for one, in my opinion. They're a lot more laid back. They are there to get their paycheck. The revolving door in prison is not as prevalent as it is in jail. So people tend to get to know each other more, because in prison you have at least 1 year or something to do. As opposed to jail, everybody's coming in and out. It's always people getting bonded out, etc. So also, in prison you have a lot more rec time. You got a lot more yards. As compared to jail. Now again, this all depends on what state you're in. I'm speaking from my own experience, from Illinois. And prisons tend to get more funding. Prisons tend to be looked after a lot more as opposed to the jails. Now let's look at the other side of the spectrum. Let's look at jails. Jails are filled with people that are on edge. You can feel this type of heavy air because everyone is still fighting their case. Nobody is quite certain when they're getting out. They're not quite certain what they're going to get charged with. So I'll give you the contrast here. When I was in jail, I was facing up to 28 years. When I was in prison, I knew I had to do 8 years. So you can see how the mental psyche takes a dump, essentially, and you will act differently depending on either seeing that light at the end of the tunnel or being blinded. Now, in jail, there's drugs everywhere. In Cook County, I'm talking about every single day, you got at least 5, 10, 20, 30 people leaving the deck, and you got 30 people coming in. Now, specifically in my county, people actually would purposely get arrested for petty cases to distribute drugs on the deck. Now, they would pay these guys to get locked up for a petty crime, say, for instance, some kind of loitering or something along the lines of trespassing, and they would literally pay them X amount of money to bring them the drugs, which was a common occurrence. These are the guys that we call send-offs. Now, the send-offs, they don't have jobs. They're usually dope fiends. They are drug addicts, and they just want to get their next fix. So another thing with jail that is very different as opposed to prison is that in jail, you're going to court. Every month, you have a court case. Now, the transfer system in jail is insane. On court day, now everybody dreads court days. Everybody dreads, because you're going to be going on a bus filled with people. Not only that, you're going to be waiting in bullpens, they call them. Now, a bullpen is basically a big cell. And this cell can be anywhere from like 20 feet by 20 feet, and it's packed to the rim with men. Now, I remember vividly the moments I had while I was in them bullpens. You would have dudes smell like straight onions, dudes smelling like poop. Now, imagine being inside of a bullpen with 100 dudes, and there's one toilet in the back. Now, obviously, some felons they're not there for making good choices. So they'll wait to relieve themselves when they're in the bullpen. Now you got 100 other dudes smelling your shit. It is just disgusting. Now, that is one moment that is one situation that I'm just never gonna forget. Being packed in a tight space with a toilet in the back that is just filled with excrement from about 10 different dudes, and it won't flush. Now, those were the days. That is something I do not miss, and I'm blessed to this day to be out as a free person, as a free man. Another big difference between jail and prison is the gang politics. In jail, the whole jail, Cook County, is ran by the gangs. There's 2 factions, and you fit in somewhere between that. Now, if you're a neutron, basically you're just going to get the bottom of the barrel. You're not going to get on the phone. You're going to get last at a shower. You're last on everything. As opposed to prison, gangs don't run anything in these prisons anymore. It's all the guards. The guards then took over. There's no structure. Everybody's playing cutthroat. Now, don't get it twisted. Of course, there's guys claiming they're an X and X gang, right? But essentially, usually these guys are the ones snitching just to get information because they want to know who's in what gang. And in jail, it's totally different. I remember in jail, I was in Cook County for about a year, and I was never told on. Not one time did anybody snitch on anything. And we actually got into a big fight on the deck. I'll talk about that on a different video. That included 48 people. It was like a mini riot. And nobody snitched out of 48 men because they knew that the consequences in jail, that if you snitch and you're deemed a snitch, you got to go to PC, which is protective custody. Otherwise, you're going to get got. Now, there's gunners, there's shooters, there's guys in there that just don't give a rat's ass. They will do what they got to do because they don't have much to look forward to. And as opposed to prison, like I stated, everybody knows their outdate. So if you mess up, that outdate's going to be prolonged. You can catch on their case. And a lot of people are just a lot more mellowed out. And the whole gang presence between jail and prison, that really does set the mood. Because, like I stated, in prison, the gangs, the only reason why they exist is to just have a tiny bit of structure amongst themselves and just to have friends. And I spent 8.5 years in the system. So when I was in prison, I hung out with guys from all sorts of gangs. While I was in jail, that wasn't really the case. You either talk to these guys or these guys. Otherwise, you're going to be deemed a flip-flopper, and they don't know who to trust. That differentiation, it can get misconstrued real quick, and you can get into a lot of trouble in jail if you try to play both sides of the fence. It's dangerous. Bottom line is this. Jail is substantially worse than prison, hands down. Cook County Jail was disgusting. It was filthy. It was way dirtier. It was just filled with guys that had a lot of chips on their shoulder that wanted to prove something. Didn't care, didn't have an out date, just essentially didn't see past what's in front of them. Now, prison, you can see the finish goal. You can see that ending. You can almost taste it. Now, don't get it twisted. You can be an idiot in either or and get smoked. You can lose your life in there. You could gain years and years and years for fighting, etc. But the bottom line is this. Both prison and jail are broken. The foundation is just not there. From the outside looking in, prison does have a lot more perks, and it's a lot more comfortable for the inmates, but ultimately, both are flawed in how they work to reintegrate inmates back in society. And that's just my 2 cents. If you guys like this video, if you enjoy the content, hit that like, hit that subscribe. I also stream on twitch.tv/everyonekills. Come on through, come kick it. As always, be good, stay safe, nothing but love here. And until next time, peace.